Knuckles Comic Issue 12. Since this is a direct continuation of the previous issue from the main comic, and has Sonic in it and everything, I don't see why this isn't part of the main comic instead. Anyways, Sonic leaves it to Knuckles to make the plan to save one of the echidnas of the Wandering Tribe, all because they're both echidnas. Well then. Knuckles says that just before the trapdoor springs, Robin will cut the rope, leaving it to Sonic to get the echidna Yanar to safety, while Marianne will lead the tribe out of harm's way. I like that Tails was upset at potentially not being involved in the plan, feeling left out and underestimated. And it was sweet of Knuckles to say, "I didn't forget about you, little guy." He has come a long way from thinking he was just a stupid kid, although just like with him and Sonic, his newfound respect for him comes out of nowhere. What was it, him fighting Mammoth Moggle? I guess. So Knuckles and Tails' roles are to take out the bad guys. Makes sense that Sonic won't join in despite being better in a fight than Tails, because he'll be busy with the rescue. After pulling off the plan, Robin chose a heroic side just like with Sonic by saying that their first priority should be the innocents, and says that he'll create a diversion, separating the two sides while Knuckles will lead his people away. Then after Yanar tells everyone to go towards Sonic, Sonic points out that he still hasn't taken out the bad guy yet, and when Robin seems to shoot him with an arrow that creates a chain that pins him to a wall, he complains, "Forget whose side you're on?" Then Robin simply releases him, implying that it was just bad aim on an archer's part. One of the echidnas says that Sonic has a point. Someone's going to get hurt if they bring Robin's guys with them, because innocents would get caught in the crossfire. Robin agrees instead of being offended at the accusation, showing maturity, and tells the tribe to go through the doors while he'll make sure that no one will obstruct their path. They do exactly that, with Marianne being unhappy about leaving Robin behind, and Tails being unhappy about leaving the General behind. I like Sonic's smart response to him. We tell Antoine zip. He's being pragmatic here, rather than honest for the dumb sake of it. We then see that the General is Rob's problem now, with the General saying the very stilted line that would have been fine if he had felt the need to say roboticized minions. It's so redundant when it should be obvious they're roboticized. The castle explodes just like that for some reason, which naturally has Marianne devastated while Sonic and Knuckles go into immediate denial about Robin getting killed by it, because they're genre savvy. One of the echidnas says that it would be a tragedy if we lost him after enduring all those years of hardship. Years? But they're only in prison for like a little while. But even though they do let Tails try to lampshade this, he's cut off before he can explain. Of course, Robin is fine, and he came back with Marianne's brothers at that. He just so happened to find them in the woods, and had them take shelter in his tree hut until he could bring them back to here. It is sweet that our brothers hug her right away instead of trying to be all manly and stuff. It really shows the bond that they have between each other. Aw, look at Tails, even he thinks this is sweet. Meanwhile, we cut back to Locke saying that Hawk is too weak to go on by himself in the coma, so that I still find way too depressing and unnecessary. And I like how not only is it lampshaded that the echidnas are using technology when they hate it, but it's actually pointed out how, no, technology as a whole is not being portrayed as evil with the echidnas, as the Guardians can symbolize all that was good about it. Then Constable Remington calls because he can freely call Haven, saying that he has the latest report for his review. He simply states that he sent the Chaotix on an assignment with Julie without elaborating what that was to the audience, and reveals to Locke that his ex-wife visited him again to try to see him. Although him saying again would explain why he's not telling him why his ex-wife wanted to see him. Did he say no last time? Locke worries me saying tell her, but immediately says that he'll be in contact soon, so that's good. But seriously, did he say no last time? We then cut back to Sonic and the guys, with Marianne asking how Robin will fare on his own. I don't hate Robin as much as before, if only because I've gotten used to his quirky way of speaking. It's at least better than Antoine's, but still, it's very out of place. He says that he's obliged to help his fellow people, which would naturally take priority over coming on a boring journey with some girl he just met. I like that Knuckles actually cares enough to ask Sonic how things are going, with a smile and everything. Sonic complains while looking sheepish that, yeah, well, Sal's busy with the princess gig, which is going to be for the rest of her life. How did these two have a successful relationship with two kids again? Because he clearly doesn't seem like he considers a princess to be her ideal mate. And him saying that reminds me of a certain someone we'll meet later, complaining about how Sonic was too focused on the whole noble hero thing, and she got bored because of it. Knuckles then says something I never expect Knuckles to say. You're welcome to drop in on the floating island anytime. After Tails leaves with Sonic for the biplane he found, without mentioning a word about how it should be useless for them since it got struck by lightning and wasn't repaired yet, Knuckles is told by an echidna that he may have misinterpreted the tomes regarding the mystical other. Now, at least we're finally hearing about the guy other than the guide now. He says that being in huge danger made him have a vision because he's psychic apparently. And that vision was a futuristic city that he found breathtaking, so at least he admits that technology is a good thing. And then says that Robin must be the other who knows the journey's end. Knuckles asks Robin if he's seen a certain cliff, and instead of just simply saying, yes, to reassure them all, he just runs towards the cliff silently and makes Marianne scared that he's going to jump to his death. Why would he ever do that? And right in front of them? Well, to heat the moment, she's not really thinking. He says that the siren call beckons him, which is confusing to him since he's never been to the glowing city across the ocean. We briefly see Lara Lee being told that Locke agreed to see her, as I think about just how great of a husband her husband is and I get immensely jealous over her going to such great lengths to talk to her ex-husband. And I actually laughed at this little exchange. Her husband goes to the constable as one for brevity, and she snarks, no, more like Locke, who never was one much of a conversation. I laughed at that because it's like relatable relationship humor. I can imagine now what kind of husband he was. The type who didn't really talk and share his feelings much because that wouldn't be manly enough. I feel for her. Meanwhile, Knuckles asks Robin why he thinks he and his friends are worthy of being escorted to the city, and he says that he just knows. So what, he's psychic too? It does make sense, if only in that he's already fallen in love with one of the members of the tribe, so him having to help them out with their journey now seems perfect, because now he doesn't have to leave her. Knuckles shouts that, I can't even swim! Sonic Adventure 2 and the advanced games beg to differ. Granted, they weren't out yet, but he can glide. Why couldn't he just glide underwater? He's told that all it requires is a leap of faith, and he snarks to mean walk across the water? Why not? Plenty of magical stuff happens in this universe. Why are you questioning it now? He's told that he'll indeed be able to do that if he just has faith, and somehow he succeeds even though he clearly was looking skeptical. And Marianne says that her home is here with Robin, the one she loves. Oh, I like her! How is that not sweet? And to think that there are actually some fans who will dismiss her outright as garbage just because she's an echidna. After Marianne's parents are somehow going to appear to be completely supportive of her abandoning the tribe for a guy she just met, to the point of giving out hugs, which is really convenient, the wandering tribe sees a purple echidna girl saying that she has awaited their return to Albion. So, how and why did their ancestors leave this place in the first place? You're telling me they came all the way here, then left just to spend forever looking to come back here? And how did she know they were coming? Did she get a vision too? I don't know why, but I don't trust her. They've got to be planning something sinister. I was doubting from the very beginning that this city would just accept a whole army of immigrants without any going through a process or nothing. This looks too easy. Knuckles is told that Albion was a futuristic city of the echidnas established over 1,000 years ago, and was isolated from the savagery of the rest of the world rather than sharing their medical technology and stuff with them. I understand, but still, that was pretty selfish. Then she explains that Echidnapolis was actually founded by the people of Albion as a colony. Also, they're lucky I love futuristic cities and pretty much any futuristic stuff, because seriously, 2 advanced ancient echidna cities? Both developed completely separate from each other? This is so convoluted. Why can't their homeland just be Echidnapolis? She then says that her people have always watched with sadness at the plight of the wandering tribe, and yet they did nothing to help. If they had invincible cameras that could videotape their suffering like a reality show, why didn't they just put microphones on those cameras to tell them, hey idiots, go this way? After she says that Albion is a sanctuary for echidnas everywhere, I'm still very suspicious. Knuckles says sadly that's not his home, because he belongs back on the floating island. I really feel for this guy. These echidnas are supposed to be his people, but he'll always feel like a fish out of water instead of fitting in with them, because he was raised on the floating island apart from all of them. Again, Athair. Okay, I guess I should start pronouncing Athair then. It's such a weird name that's not intuitive to pronounce. Knuckles is told that Aether had anticipated such feelings on his part and left him something to pass on to him. It's a guiding star gem, which looks just like a tiny fragment of the Master Emerald, and Aether had assumed that Knuckles would know how to use it. Somehow, he was right, and he walks into a light with some holograms of Aether and the Ancient Walkers looking down from above. This story was written by Ken Penders, and was about the wandering tribe being freed from the highest share of Subbots Bagmans after a plan executed flawlessly by the heroes, and them easily finding their homeland, which wasn't akin to Palos, but yet another futuristic city, except this one's ultra futuristic. You could tell because it's white and glowing. Seriously, I'm so suspicious of this place because it seems too good to be true, and I'm outright hoping that it will be, and that it'll be the place of evil instead, because that would actually make it distinct and interesting and lead to different plots, rather than it just being a totally pointless clone of the Kid of Palos, which if it was, I wouldn't forgive it for. I thought the budding relationship between Rob, Hedge, and Marianne was pretty sweet, even if it was really sudden and not developed on. And I liked how her parents didn't make things depressing but disapproving, and I'm glad they moved the Lara, Lee, and Locke plot along, if glacially. Even Antoine's father being left behind was fine, that it leaves the door open for some more stories about him down the line, rather than underwhelmingly rescuing him right away. Although I still find his identity as a Subboss really strange. So I like the story, I guess. The next stories go from issues 59 to 63 of the main comic.